Second, just in a nutshell, any comment in regards to, and maybe I'll start with the Navy also, in regards to the future of the Arctic and military need or positioning?
I think we're looking at the Arctic very carefully. We have an ongoing effort in conjunction with our allies, the Canadians, Norwegians, and others, in discussing it. I think there are three aspects. There's a security aspect, there's a safety aspect, and certainly an environmental aspect that we're concerned about in the Arctic. And I think we're, the initial actions for us is as the area becomes free of ice during the summer months and we start to see shipping and oil exploration and other activities up there, I think that there will be a necessity for us to begin to think about having a maritime domain awareness of what's occurring in the Arctic. But I don't see at the present time or within several years a requirement for military operations up there.
Very good. Anyone else want to respond on that one before I?
Yeah, I mean, we routinely operate up there now with our submarines.
Correct.
And have gained a lot in those operations.
Very good. Thank you very much. Let me, General Breedlove, let me go to you. You know where I'm going. I want to talk to you a little about Eielson Air Force Base, and as you know, there's an effort to relocate the F-16s. We've had conversation, and my big concern is based on the volume of movement of civilian force. These are my words. I see this as kind of a backdoor BRAC without all the public process and the need. But here's the real question. This is what I ask everyone in every meeting I have. If you're the Air Force and you're wearing anything that indicates such, you get these questions, and I look for the answers. Did the Air Force conduct a comprehensive analysis and assessment to validate the cost savings? As you know, in the first year it's 3.5. I think over the 5 years it's 169 million. And when I say comprehensive, not just for the fiscal year 13,
Right.
but for the spread and then other services that may be affected. Example A is the joint training facility that's on there, mobility center, that the Army uses to move people, the Stryker Force. They use it. It's on Air Force Base, and Air Force personnel participate in that effort. When you reduce down that force, then the Army is going to have to pick up a tab on this. I don't want to pitch you two all here in the middle of this, but I look at it from a DoD perspective, not a service perspective of these savings. So is there a comprehensive cost analysis? And then if the answer is yes, is it gross in the sense of what it saves, or is it net in what it saves? Because I believe it's not the latter, it's not net, it's a gross number. So please.
Senator, as you know, and we've talked a little bit about this with your staff, I think the turn of the discussion or the question is what you would call, how detailed is that analysis? We did do a detailed analysis to make this decision, but I assure you it was not to the level that you're discussing now.
Okay.
And that is why, as you know, we have a very team up there that has made a much more deep impact or made a much more deep study of this, and we will soon see that next level of analysis which you asked for. And as our chief has said, that if after this next level of analysis that the savings don't pan out as we thought they would, then we'll look at relook at the decision about moving that force.
I appreciate that, and I want to. Here's the feedback, just so we have it on the record, from many people who met with the team that was up there. They felt, and you probably saw some of the reports, they felt the team came up and already had a program of dismantling versus what are the costs, what are the savings, are they real, are they not? So as you see that report come to you, I would hope that you would ask those hard questions, because it wasn't just one or two folks that mentioned this to me, community leaders who met with them, but it was everybody. They felt like it was not about, okay, does this make an economic sense? Does it really have the savings? Because that's at the end of the day, this is an economic issue. It's not a strategic issue. It's about how much are we saving, and I recognize that. And the response we got was somewhat surprising. So I would hope you or your folks would take that hard look of, are these real savings, and then making sure it's not just through the eyes of the Air Force, but stepping one more step out in the DoD savings, because they may be gross savings, but then you may have these other expenses. For example, the Army may have to pick up more costs, which, okay, if that's part of it, that should be worked in, because at the end of the day, it's about how much money we need to save for DoD. May each service has a requirement. So I want to make sure we look at that perspective. And then there's the construction budget, as you know, there may be needs in JBEAR, and I want to see how that fits in, and not just for the 13, but for that longer span. And I think we're on the same page. I do appreciate some of your folks coming in the last week or so working with us, and that's greatly appreciated. So,
Senator, I will assure you I'll look at that report. I wrote down that you have a feeling that they arrived with a preconceived notion.
yeah.
And so we will attack the report in that way. And I clearly understand what you're talking about real savings over the long run and other unintended consequences. The team should be focused on those, and we'll ask those questions.
Great. And you know, again, I recognize the need, and we, as you know, through our markup we did last year, I offered some needs and some savings. Actually, we tried to save the Army a lot of money on MEADS, but somehow got jacked back in, not by you guys. But now the House has taken it out, so we're trying to save you, I don't know, a few $100 million there. But I think we're game to find those savings, but let's make sure they're sustainable savings, and that's how we look at this. So again, I have a series of other pieces, but I think you get the sense. I mean, everything
Fully
from the NEPA analysis, when you have to build housing, all these other things, that's all a cost that has to be figured into this. So I appreciate that. Let me just end on one last question, and that's on the Red Flag Alaska operation. And as whatever happens to Eielson, where does that end up at the end of the day? Is it third wing? Is it the 354th? You know, where does it, who owns it at the end of the day? And I don't know if you can answer that right now, but if you could take that, and in this analysis, that's going to be one of those questions on the red flag exercise and operations. Who will own that exercise at the end of the day? Because we know the commitment by the Air Force is, and the military is to continue that operation. It's very successful. And so I just need to know kind of where it lands.
I will get you a very definitive answer, but I can tell you that we see no change in that. As you
Correct.
said, Senator, the Red Flag Alaska is absolutely critical to the training we're about to do. As our new strategy talks of the shift to the Pacific, clearly this is a Pacific-focused area, so we anticipate no changes now. But I owe you a definitive answer on that.
Fantastic. Thank you all very much, and thank you for your service. And for the Alaskans that are now starting to come back from Afghanistan, we had about 9,000 Alaska-based operation folks in the field in Afghanistan. They're all starting to come back, and thank you for the service. It was a pleasure to see them in Afghanistan when I was there that last trip. Thank you all very much.